Hi, my name is Aaron Parish, and I'm the Director of Immigration at Dallas Baptist University. Today I wanted to share with you a little bit about CPT. First, let's talk about the rules to apply for CPT. First of all, you must have been inside the United States for 1 academic year on the visa before we can approve you for CPT. So that means that you need to arrive in the US, accomplish 1 fall and 1 spring inside the US, and then you can apply for CPT. Second, you must be enrolled in a class or a program that requires practical training, like an internship. Next, the employment must be related to your field of study. So you can't be a music major and work at McDonald's. We can't approve something like that. Next, you must provide an employment offer letter. You'll find someone that wants to hire you, and then they'll give you a letter that has to meet certain requirements. And then finally, you have to choose if you want part-time CPT or full-time CPT. Part-time means that you would work only 20 hours or less per week. Full-time would mean that you could work 20 hours or more per week. And let's talk a little bit about full-time and why that's important. If you are approved for full-time CPT for a total of 1 year, then you will lose OPT. So that means that you must only do CPT for less than 1 year. And then let's talk about something else that you've probably heard of, what's called Day 1 CPT. Day 1 CPT means that you're an F1 student and you've arrived in the US for the first time and you start your CPT immediately. And it sounds like a really good opportunity, but it might not be a good opportunity for you. Remember, an F1 student must study inside the US for 1 year before he can be approved for CPT, unless you meet 2 requirements. Number 1, you are a master level student, and number 2, you are enrolled in a program that requires CPT in the first year of study. So sometimes that's a problem, because if you accumulate more than 1 year of full-time CPT, then you will not get OPT. So you have to watch out for that. So those are the rules to apply for CPT. The next question that a lot of people have is, when can I apply for CPT? Well, there is no application deadline. But let's think about the timeline for just a second. CPT employment can start anytime during the semester, as long as you've met all the requirements and as long as you've been approved. So let's look at the timeline. First, you would enroll in the class that requires an internship. The second thing that needs to happen is you need to get hired by a company. After you get hired, you would do 2 things. You would request your CPT from the DSO, and you would also request a social security number. Both of those things have to happen before your final step, which is start work. So make sure that you get all those steps in and that you understand the timeline. It might not happen really fast. Sometimes it takes a little longer. So that helps us understand when you can apply for CPT. Keep in mind that DBU will allow students to work remotely, but you still have to live close to DBU because you still have to attend classes in person. This is a requirement of the F visa. Next, let's talk about a few dangers that I want you to be aware of when it comes to CPT. If a student has been approved for CPT for many years, the US government might assume that that student is abusing the F visa. So maybe this student has already done their OPT and now they want to just continue doing more and more and more CPT. Well, the problem is just that the government might look at that and assume that that student is abusing the F visa. Second, if a student starts working before they receive their CPT I-20, then the I-20, we also call your CVIS record, will be terminated. You may not start working until after you have received your CPT I-20. And then the final danger that we want you to be aware of, we've already mentioned, is that 1 year of full-time CPT will cause you to lose your OPT. You can do as much part-time CPT as your academic program will allow, but you are limited on how much full-time CPT you're allowed. So those are the dangers. Now there may be a few frequently asked questions or FAQs about CPT. Is CPT approved only one time for my whole degree? No. You will have to request CPT every semester, and we will only approve it for that one semester. Will I have to miss days of work between semesters? No. We will line up your CPT dates so that you don't miss any days at work. Is there a limit to how many hours I can work per week? Well, if you were approved for part-time CPT, then yes, you are limited to 20 hours per week. But if you are approved for full-time CPT, no, there is no limit. And then when can I apply? Well, there is no deadline to apply for CPT. Just make sure that you meet all the other requirements. For example, make sure that you are enrolled in the class that requires the internship. Make sure that you are enrolled full-time according to the government regulations. And make sure that you give the DSO team a good week to process your request. Those are some of the important things that you need to know about the road to CPT.